A very good evening. I'm Brian Banda, tonight with the news at 8. Here are the headlines. High Court invalidates MCP's resolution of barring new members from contesting at the party's elective convention. Political analysts have tipped opposition parties to form a solid bloc for their realistic chances of making it next year's elections. And also tonight, Parliamentary Committee on Agriculture not amused with the quantity of maize that Admarc has purchased since May this year. We have these and other stories. Thanking you for joining us tonight, and if you may, please let's be together. Our top story tonight: High Court Judge Howard Pemba has declared invalid a decision by MCP's National Executive Committee to bar new members from contesting at the party's convention. The party's member, Eddie Banda, dragged the party to court challenging the decision. Kathy Maulidi was at the court and filed a report which is read tonight by Fale Banda.
According to the committee, party president Lazarus Chakwera, who is also Malawi president, is expected to go unopposed at the convention. Mumba was not immediately available for comment, but writing on his Facebook page, Mumba said, "Be still, this is just passing wind." According to Msukwa, the party received 224 nominations but approved 204 names. He said the final decision on the contestants was decided by the party's management meeting held on Monday evening and chaired by Chakwera.
We are aware, ladies and gentlemen, that we will be having so many people who have been, big shots in the party, competing on a similar position, meaning that when you take one, the others will not be in the National Executive Committee. We should build from the fact that we say that we believe in loyalty in the Congress Party, and that because you're not in the National Executive Committee, that doesn't mean that you can't stay on the party. We believe that people will still be able to stay on the party. But apart from that, we will be having sessions to prepare our candidates, counseling sessions to prepare candidates for a result, which result will be either a win or a loss. So we have asked scholars.
Interestingly, the MCP Convention Committee announced the names of eligible candidates to contest at the convention just before the High Court was scheduled to make its pronouncement in a court case in which one of its members, Eddie Banda, challenged the party's National Executive Committee decision to bar some candidates who have not been in the party for more than 2 years. But MCP spokesperson Ezekiel Chingoma told reporters in Lilongwe that the outcome of the court case had no bearing on the eligibility of the rejected candidates. He said even if the court was to rule in favor of the rejected candidates, the party would still not welcome them.
Political analysts have tipped the country's opposition parties to have a solid bloc if they are to capitalize on the flaws of the Tonse-led administration. But Professor of Democracy from Birmingham University in the United Kingdom, Nick Cheeseman, stresses the current regime might stay put with a not-so-united opposition. Kelly Napolo reports.
Malawians are now counting months before going for the next general elections scheduled for 16th September 2025. Some opposition political parties believe it's time to snatch power from the Tonse-led administration. They accuse it of telling Malawians lies during its campaign promises. But political analysts have stressed a united opposition is critical to sending the current regime out of power. Ernest Tindwa says the opposition parties must forgo their egos and form a strong opposition if they are to have realistic chances of winning.
When it comes to forming really a strong opposition. It will depend on how these parties really interact among themselves. The rest of the parties that I have not mentioned really will not have an effect in terms of forming a strong opposition. And indeed, forming a strong opposition or electoral alliance will again depend on the incentives that will be there for the bigger political parties and the minor political parties, but also the personal egos of party leaders who also come into play.
But Nick Cheeseman, a professor of democracy at the Brigham University in United Kingdom, argues there is a possibility of the current government holding on if the opposition can speak one language.
Popular dissatisfaction with the government and the state of the economy creates a great opportunity for the opposition at the next election, but they will have to seize it. That means resolving their internal differences and pulling in the same direction. Only once this is done can they build the unified coalition needed to secure 50% plus one. At present, there is both disunity within key parties such as the DPP and between some opposition parties. The longer that continues, the better prospects for the government holding on.
In June 2020 French presidential poll, it took 9 opposition political parties to defeat Peter Mutharika and his DPP.
The Tobacco Commission says it has confiscated 5,080 bales of nested tobacco during this year's tobacco season. Its spokesperson, Teleforas Chigwenembe, said this during a media tour to some TC facilities, including auction floors. Brenda Kyle reports tonight.
The confiscation, which was carried out during the 2023-2024 tobacco market season, targeted bales that did not meet the required standards due to excess stem, stand, and other objects. According to Chigwenembe, the confiscation is part of efforts to maintain the quality of Malawi tobacco and promote sustainable agriculture practices.
We need to deal with nesting because it is costly. It becomes expensive on the part of our tobacco buying companies in Malawi because they pay for the tobacco, and it's unfortunate that sometimes they have to discover at the factory that the tobacco that they bought is bad, the bales are nested. And internationally, it's not good because if we don't deal with this, it means that the integrity of our tobacco will be compromised.
He said the confiscated bales were seized from various auction floors across the country, with Lilongwe recorded the highest number of seizures. According to Chigwenembe, Lilongwe had 2,460 nested bales, Kasungu 1,481, Zuzu 842, and Limbi 187 bales. Leonard Chimwaza is an agriculture expert, and he explains.
This is quite very unfortunate for the tobacco industry in Malawi because for quite a long time we have been lamenting over this malpractice whereby farmers and other unscrupulous traders are fond of putting other non-tobacco related materials in the tobacco bales with an idea of cheating the buyers so that they can get more money through this malpractice.
Malawi has released a total of $395 million from 132.8 million kwacha in the 2023-2024 tobacco season.
AO Alliance has handed over 2 orthopedical theaters to Queen Elizabeth Central Hospital following completion of rehabilitation works on the facilities. Representatives of the alliance indicate the project has cost $125,000, which is about 218 million kwacha. Claude Martin is the managing director of AO Alliance, and he explains.
And earlier this year, I was here on an education course, and I toured around with my project officer, Mr. Kamanji, Precious Kamanji, and we said, we have to do something. We have to do something because we're at a tipping point. Either we completely let it go and say, well, it's the hospital's responsibility to make it happen, to refurbish it, or we find some funding and to put it back into the shape it should be. And it's for the Malawian patients. You know, the doctors and the nurses work here. It's a nice environment to work. Orthopedic and trauma surgery is very complicated in terms of you need a lot of equipment, a lot of implants, but you also need sterility. You need a clean place to do your operations because an infected fracture is an absolute disaster.
And Kevin Imponda is the hospital director.
This is a very great day for us. Injuries and musculoskeletal disease forms a big chunk of the work that we do in the hospital. Some of the patients that stay the longest before they receive care are coming from orthopedics and department. And this is largely due to the increasing load of patients that come in, but also our lack of ability to cope with those numbers through reduced availability of space to do the operations. So when AO Alliance came in to first build the initial theater, but also to renovate it so that we improve on our ability to operate, you can imagine how happy we are.
You're watching Primetime News on Times Television. We have more news in a moment.
Food, and then suddenly felt the burn. Don't let heartburn or indigestion ruin your meal. Try Tummy Sid. It gets to work fast to stop acids. Tummy Sid. Fast, soothing relief from heartburn.
Welcome back. Construction of 4,726 bed space hostels at Mzuni University under the Public-Private Partnership Commission arrangement is set to run from October this year to September 2027. The $130 million project is to be run as a joint venture among African Growth Company and Future Limited, as well as the financier. More in this report by Sam Kalimira.
Director of Communications and Strategic Partnership at AGG, Amos Chibwana, speaking in Mzuzu to give an update of the project, said the designs for the hostels were already done and currently they are finalizing financial closure with the PPPC. Chibwana said the primary goal of the project is to provide affordable, quality, well-managed and well-maintained student accommodation.
We are at a state whereby we need to finalize the financial closure with which is to be submitted to the Public-Private Partnership Commission. So that after that, if we get through, then we are going to start. But in terms of finances, we are being dragged by the process. But otherwise, we should have started by some months ago. So we don't have a problem with finances. Finances are there, and we are good to go soon as we are done with the financial closure.
The project was officially introduced to President Lazarus Chakwera on 1st August this year at the occasion of Mzuni's 26th graduation ceremony. Commenting on the development, Mzuni Students' Council President Wesley Malegano said accommodation remains dire at Mzuni, with only about 800 students accommodated at the campus from the over 8,500 students the institution has.
Mzuni University, it only accommodates 800 students. Now, with this great and maybe I should say unexpected news that the hostels that Malcolm is going to bring to the Mzuni University, it will be about 7,000 plus students That is almost the whole populations that Mzuzu University is accommodating now.
Speaking earlier, Mzuni Vice Chancellor Wells Singini said some of the hostels at the campus have also outlived their lifespan. Said one dorms were constructed to last for 5 years but have now been operational for 15 years. According to the agreement, the group will run the hostels for 35 years, after which they will be transferred to the university.
The Parliamentary Committee on Agriculture says it is not impressed with the current quantity of maize which Admarc has purchased since May this year. Admarc Chief Executive Officer Dan Makata told the committee that they have so far purchased 26,000 metric tons of maize out of the targeted 40,000 metric tons. The committee's chairperson, Samia Suleiman, said the current quantity was not satisfactory as most maize was already in the hands of vendors. Suleiman explains to reporter Pempero Malimba.
It will not be. So our main concern now is that as a country we are still having a big shortfall of maize, and also looking at the recent report by MVAC and other institutions saying that almost 6 million Malawians will be food insecure.
But Makata has expressed optimism that they will hit their maize purchase target by the end of August, as challenges that they were facing were already addressed.
If you look at how we are buying now, today is 6th of August, and by end of July, we had bought around 22,000 tons. And within the first 6 days of August, we have already bought in excess of 4,000 tons. You see that the projection in that case is better than what we used to have. We are currently now buying an average of 1,500 tons every day. And if you project the tonnage that is remaining is just 14,000 plus tons. So 14,000 plus tons, if you're buying 1,500 tons every day, you're looking at 10 days or more, or less sometimes, to be able to achieve that. So we are very confident that by end of this month, actually that is a target that we are saying, by end of this month, Admarc should to finish buying their maize, and we should be able to stock whatever we're supposed to stock for this year.
State Vice President Michael Usi has advised the clergy to stop fearing politicians for the attainment of power balance. Usi made the remarks at the Bingu International Convention Center in the capital, Lilongwe, during the opening of the Chaplaincy Stakeholders Conference. Kumbo Kaliwo attended the conference. He filed a report which is read tonight by Brenda Kayo.
Usi said people in government, either politicians or civil servants, are the one bringing the country down, and he believes chaplains has a greater nation law to help inculcate a positive mindset change. Usi added that achieving excellence in human resources starts with mindset change, starting with institutions the faith leaders are coming from.
We are looking at our Malawi 2063 as a blueprint that is guiding our development agenda. Now, this development agenda, to come to fruition, there is a precondition or preconditions, and one of them is mindset change, which means a paradigm shift from the way we have been doing our business in government and even in the private sector. So what it means is that the diagnosis of the undesirable behaviors that are bringing down the government must be addressed. For them to be addressed, we need a robust strategy that addresses those undesirable behaviors. So chaplaincy is one of the areas or department or missions which have a role to address such issues.
Director General of the National Planning Commission, Thomas Muntali, concurred with Usi by saying the faith leaders are key in helping promoting the country's integrity. Muntali said the country is making progress in implementing the 2063 agenda, but the progress is very slow. And if the country has proper mindset, the public sector performance will improve and the government system will perform better.
We are making progress, but slow. And some of the reasons is because there is a mindset of business as usual that continues both in state and non-state actor sectors. And I think what is key now is to engage this chaplaincy, the religious community, because almost each one of us belongs to one faith group or another. And therefore, when we sit in these gatherings, engagements with them, we tend to listen to these ecclesia and the chaplains more.
During the conference, the Council of Chaplaincy Ministry awarded the Vice President a medal as a symbol of godly leadership. Theme for the 2024 Chaplaincy Conference is Chaplaincy as a Vehicle for Malawi 2063.
Over 7,500 households at Traditional Authority Mlauli in Neno District have been financially empowered through the Action Aid Malawi project called Tipindule. The project provided training in financial literacy, integrated household farming, business management, and other areas. Matilda Majawa reports from there.
The first malaria dose is administered when
One of the beneficiaries, a 64-year-old Stella Mbirizi, says she's now financially independent and owns a shop that supports her financially.
However, after the Tipindule project came along and provided training in business management and other areas, my situation improved significantly. Today, I am financially independent and enjoy substantial profits.
Jimmy Gadama is another beneficiary whose life has changed for the better.
I'm currently financially stable and have been able to purchase a motorcycle, chickens, goats, and other items. I now have a vision board that I'm following.
Action Aid Malawi project officer Charles Finis-Pili said they were happy with the impact of the project as it has freed Neno households financially and they no longer struggle to make ends meet.
Yes, very happy. So far so good because we are able to track changes in the households. If we compare with the status that we found in the communities, for example, I'll give you an example of asset acquisition. If you go to households, you will see that now they have accumulated some assets. For example, motorcycles, bicycles. They have also managed to procure livestock like goats, and some have even procured cows, which is a big plus in terms of project achievement.
The 2-year project, which was initiated in April 2023 and will run through March 2025, was meant to reach 7,500 households, but has surpassed the target as about 7,600 have been drilled and are financially independent. The project is financed by funding from the Financial Access for Rural Markets, Smallholders and Enterprise Program, FAMZE.
Ministers' Wives Association under the Blantyre City Presbytery of the CCAP Blantyre Synod has emphasized the need to assist the underprivileged. Fanny Hauya, who is the pastor's wife at Nkolokote CCAP and was leading the fundraising initiative, said this when the women visited pastors' wives who are now widows and sick children at Queen Elizabeth Central Hospital in Blantyre. Hauya said pastors' wives have a responsibility of uplifting those in need. And Reverend Felix Kwombola, who is vice moderator of the Blantyre City Presbytery, commended the women for the initiative.
Here, together with our ladies, we call them Ministers' Wives Association. It's MWA in short. And we are here to donate a few things that might help our friends, colleagues, relatives that are in the hospital. We are targeting specifically the children's ward. So we managed to gather together some resources which we have managed to buy some items worth about 2.5 million or somewhere about. So we are here just to show them love. Why? Because the word of God from 1 John chapter 3 verse 18 says love should not be in words alone, but in deeds and also in truth.
Well, that item was the last in the bulletin, but before we go, here is another look at our headlines. High Court invalidates MCP's resolution of barring new members from contesting at the party's elective convention. Political analysts have tipped opposition parties to form a solid bloc for their realistic chances of making it in next year's elections. And Parliamentary Committee on Agriculture is not amused with the quantity of maize that Admarc has purchased since May this year. That's the bulletin. My name is Brian Banda from all of us here at Times headquarters in Blantyre. Wishing you the very best of the evening and goodbye.
Of course, Blue Band is amazing on toast. Duh. But did you know there's more? Blue Band can do your topping.